No one knows, no one knows. We all woke up in the upside down, turning inside out, like we've all been led astray. We've been standing on the outside in, trying to find our friends, like we're all just castaways. Feel like we've been missing out.
Hey there, and
Hi.
welcome back to Rikileaks. We are here with another spooky season series of 7.
Hooray!
Yeah, this is the series where we look at fiction and see what its authors were trying to tell us. And it was a whole lot of, there's different dimensions and there's things coming to and from those dimensions, and pentagrams are controlling all of the creatures.
Very spooky. Yes, it's true. Yes, there's a lot of that happening.
We've covered Avatar, Dune, Prometheus, Harry Potter, Godfather, many more. So check us out if you're interested in this video. We just look at different things that are being told throughout the story. So come on, join along. We're going to go over Pirates of the Caribbean. Stay tuned. Oh, and we have a special guest, Sarge with Icons.
Yes, we love Sarge.
Yeah. So we're going to cover a couple things about trade and maritime law, and then we're going to go into that discussion. Alrighty, let's go.
In the 1600s, Spain faced several factors that led to a decline in its international trade activities. One significant reason was the depletion of precious metals from the Americas, which were a major source of wealth and trade commodities. As these resources became scarcer, Spain's economic power weakened. Additionally, Spain was embroiled in numerous costly wars, such as the 80 Years' War with the Dutch and conflicts with England and France, which drained the nation's finances and diverted attention from trade. Furthermore, Spain's rigid and outdated economic policies, including heavy taxation and restrictive trade regulations, stifled economic growth and innovation. The rise of other European powers, particularly the Dutch and the British, who developed more efficient trade networks and naval dominance, also contributed to Spain's diminishing role in the global trade during this period. Yes, the East India Trading Company was involved in the slave trade, though it was not the primary focus of their operations. The company, established in 1600, was primarily engaged in the trade of goods such as spices, textiles, and tea. However, during the 17th and 18th centuries, the company participated in the transatlantic slave trade, transporting enslaved Africans to various colonies, which was absolutely horrible. And I think a lot of the people who were, levied to work for the East India Trading Company weren't necessarily nefarious, and I don't think they were evil people. I think they were, they were trying to do the best they could at the time, and it's the 1% that I don't like. Those who had the powers to form the East India Trading Company and authorize its voyages, they're the ones to blame, and they did some pretty terrible things. And I think that's what would led to a lot of men becoming privateers in the first place.
Yeah, they saw that it was going dirty. They saw the corruption.
Yeah, they would be, sailing for one man and then would, see what's going on, say, hey, this isn't right, what you're doing. You're treating people atrociously. I don't stand for that. And then they go serve with someone who does.
This is such an important part of understanding not only how the American country came together, but Spain during this time, usually you start explaining what was happening in trade and people's eyes glaze over.
Yeah.
But in very easy terms, like the reason piracy, the golden age of piracy, which was like the 16 and early to mid 1700s, the reason that's called this golden age of piracy is because the Spanish trade routes, you couldn't get stuff into Spain. They weren't doing business outside. Everyone was low on costs or supplies, and it was a very difficult time to get certain goods. So whenever you can't get goods or whenever things are made illegal or embargoed, piracy comes in. Like, people are still going to get those goods, and it's sad to hear that some of those goods were humans. And the worst part of this, like, East India Trading Company is it was primarily ran by the Crown, and they show this in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, the Crown is sending their own armies to kind of get some of the treasure that the pirates were looting from all these places. And they heard about artifacts. We'll get into that in a second. But it really does shape the law of the land.
In many fictional series, piracy serves as a catalyst for the evolution of legal systems, often highlighting the tension between lawlessness and order. Piracy, with its romanticized images of rebellion and freedom, frequently challenge established authorities, which force them to adapt and refine their legal frameworks. For example, the presence of pirates often lead to the creation of maritime laws, which are designed to protect trade routes and maintain order on the high seas. These laws often reflect a society's attempt to balance the desire for control and the need to accommodate the unpredictable nature of piracy. Additionally, fictional narratives may explore how piracy influences legal definitions of crime and punishment as characters navigate worlds where lines between legality and illegality are blurred. Through these storylines, piracy not only drives the plot, but also promotes deeper questions about justice, authority, and the social contract.
Oh my gosh, maritime law. Apparently, the biggest thing, if you're a conspiracy theorist, everyone knows that in 1871, with the ratification of the 14th Amendment, there was some fake takeover, a coup at play, and it was done very, very carefully, and really no one really understood what was going on until present day, and we're having to deal with it now.
This was all masterfully planned and executed. During the Civil War, the Constitutional Republic abandoned Congress, which forced President Lincoln to issue martial law. At this time, the Republic was taken over by foreign insurgents who replaced it with the United States of America, Inc., in all caps, in 1871. A corporation that had the same name, the United States. What better way to replace it without anyone?
The United States of America. So it became a corporation. The corporation brought in bylaws, and it started acting as like kind of one of these pirate boats. And this pirate code became statutes, and we have admiralty law or maritime law. And what I think of is Ghislaine Maxwell, for some reason, has a submarine license.
Well, yeah, and I think that goes into looking at how people have abused the justice system in every sense of the word, even not on land courts, but on the high seas, like you said, with admiralty law. And that's what's interesting, because she had her boat registered in the Cayman Islands, and if you know. I would suggest people go and just research on your own about where you register boats and what benefits you get. But where Ghislaine had her boats registered, she gained
Canary or
Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
She benefited from getting access to the Royal Navy. So if she ever got in trouble and pinged the Royal Navy for help, people who are planted in the Royal Navy, which I'm more than willing to believe they are there, would get pinged, and they would notify people in high places that something was happening to one of their agents, which is not good. But I would like to say in another world there, where goodness does exist, it would be good to have that perk if you were ever in trouble. So,
and I think
it's just another way that they use law against us, but they write law to serve themselves.
It's going to bite them in the ass. It's not going to work. If you play that game, the law that they thought was going to let them slide by, it's going to bite them.
So with the military, and we've been talking a lot about theaters of war, and there's kind of a boundary in a way that the military operates like that. And I think a lot of that also was shown during the time of the golden age of piracy. And there's a book, The Sea Rover's Practice, by Benderson Little, and it's about the Code of Pirates, which is often referred to as the Pirate Code or the Articles, which is just a set of rules that govern the conduct and organization of pirate crews during the Golden Age. So, the Golden Age of Piracy, excuse me. These codes were created to maintain order and fairness among the crew, ensuring that everyone had a say in decision-making and shared equally in the spoils of their ventures. The code included guidelines on the division of loot, with specific shares allocated to the captain, the quartermaster, and crew members based on their role and contribution. It also addressed issues of discipline, outlining punishments for offenses such as theft or desertion. The code often established democratic principles allowing crew members to vote on important matters such as electing leaders or deciding on their next target. This system was crucial in maintaining the fragile balance of power and camaraderie among a group of individuals united by a common cause but living outside the bounds of conventional law.
It hurts me because the way that the military has been used as an industrial complex is so sad, because the military is a wonderful, wonderful institution. It is ultimately, I think, what is going to save us in many ways. Here in America, we have the Second Amendment. It allows for each civilian to be its own military. So I do hold a place in my heart for the military, but I can't lie, it's been obviously taken over. And I do have a Magic in the Seas segment where we go into pentagram magic. Pentagram is how you can control demons. All of this piracy stuff should and probably does sound a lot like Freemasonry. Everyone and their mother likes to talk shit about pirates. Everyone and their mother likes to talk shit about Freemasons. Everyone and their mother. And it's really sad because it's like these institutions and the valuable knowledge they do teach has been corrupted. All of these movies we've gone over, all these books, series explain the magic has been corrupted.
Actually, Jordan Maxwell speaks extensively on this. That in an ancient sense, those who made ships would put spiritual knowledge into the concept of shipbuilding. So you would get God as a ship. God's inner would be the hull. The mind is the sails. And we are on the stage of life, sailing, sort of like an old Freemason or Masonic poem is row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That's the secret. If you could.
Witches and wizards weren't bad in Harry Potter until the evil reptilian overlord came and took over everyone and made their little world communist. And then, obviously, after that, witches and wizards that were still allowed to live in that world weren't very good. So, understandably, a lot of this stuff has been muddied because it's been taken over by bad guys. But we didn't even cover this. This is our like 6th time filming this. We have a problem filming it each and every time. And we
Meaning
never.
the file gets corrupted and we lose everything we talked about.
And we've done it on like 3 different systems. So this is like our last ditch effort. If it goes up, whatever. Luffy. What's that?
One Piece, the TV show.
There's an anime and a TV show called One Piece. I'm very proud of the TV show. I think it did a really good job. But it explains that, yeah, there's asshole pirates out there. And there's pirates using black magic. But there's also free men who have a boat. And they're just living their lives.
Yeah, they have good principles. They want to
men.
do good things. So not all pirates are created equal.
But, and I think in both Pirates of the Caribbean and One Piece, all the pirates and free men do eventually have to like gang together and fight something bigger, which is this military-esque. In One Piece, it's the Marines. In Pirates of the Caribbean, it's the East India Trading Company, and it's a very militaristic version of piracy. We don't like that. We all want to be free men. We all want to be able to create and live and be happy. You're tired.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of itchy.
But yeah.
Right. Again, it's the 1%ers of this world who have corrupted everything. They always find a way to spin good people as their own reflection, and that happened again with piracy when we did the research on it.
For sure. So, military, one thing I do want to get out there that I think has been mostly corrupt about us growing up the way we have is the military. Not everyone joins it. The 1% that do, they know what I'm talking about. They teach little boys how to become men. And a really good fiction piece of work is White Squall. It's not a military institution. It's just like a handful of teenagers still going through a crucible, still learning how to become a crew, still learning how to get together. The movie even covers that there's conflict within the crew and you have to work that out. It explains how to be accountable. And these are all things that kids nowadays are not learning. They might have done it more with Vietnam and our parents and grandparents, but they're not learning these crucible moments anymore. And I think the young generation, we can see how men not having this type of brethren is dangerous. So to just say all military, all Freemasons, all pirates in the whole entire world have always been bad is illogical and it doesn't make sense. And also, if you've lived the past 8 years, you've seen very good people be called very bad stuff. We've had family call us Nazis, and it's like they're the ones giving money to Ukraine. It's like, oh, it's funny how the bad people are calling us the bad people. So when you look at the history and you hear certain things are good or bad, just try to keep an ear open and ask for the right eyes to see, the ears to hear for truth. I think we're all going to be pleasantly surprised at the outcome of all this, and I truly think all these tools that were being used against us, like these institutions, are going to flip, which is a thing in the pirates. There's an entire flip that they
Yeah.
go through from Davy Jones' locker, which is limbo, which is, I think, where we are, and you have to flip the ship to get on the right track. I think we're right at that flip. I think it's the precipice moment of what's coming up, and that might be why things that were really, really bad, like cannibalism and stuff done to children and crimes against humanity, I think that is in this limbo and we need to flip out of it. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Flip the boat.
Flip the boat. Yeah, I'm excited. Hello there. On this detailed journey of the Pirates of the Caribbean, there was a single man, the myth, the legend, that I could not film this talk without. And I want everyone to welcome Sarge from Icons. Hi, Sarge.
Hi, Alexia. How you doing? It's
I'm
great to
so
see you
well.
again. You look awesome and amazing
Thank
as
you.
usual. Okay.
Thank you. And no, you are the number one person I always go to. Your chat and your moderators. I want to thank your moderators. They put out some of the most truthful yet well eloquent.
Mm-hmm. They do. I mean, they are my backbones.
They
And
are amazing, and they put really hard subjects in very easy to read and understand formats.
right,
So
right. I love it. I love it.
I'm so happy that you're here because I always knew that we'd be working with you, and I wanted to call you in for when we eventually do Star Trek. And this is the earliest version of Star Trek that we're talking about. The idea of free men sailing the seas and they can do whatever the heck they do and they can go voyage. And a lot of us, we always want to get out of our dimension, our world, and think for the stars. But there's so much of our Earth that we don't even know is confirmed yet. And that's where pirates really fascinates me.
Right, right. It is awesome, and that was one of my favorite programs growing up. I was attracted to Star Trek. I became a Trekkie as a kid. I used to dress up like with the Spock ears and go to their conventions and stuff like that. And um, it basically was showing us I think, our past and our
Mhm.
future and our future. This is just a pause in between that type of reality, I think
Yeah.
that we're going to, and and that's the way all free sovereign souls have to be. Everyone um, stayed into themselves. We live in a freedom state.
Yeah. And how do you know what freedom is? We often hear that people don't understand freedom until they've had it taken away from them. And I
Hmm.
can understand as a bigger entity not understanding confines and boundaries and having to live within those. So I can totally see why, you know, the creator, the us, the ultimate one would want to kind of force themselves in this situation for a very limited time. But that is seen in both Star Trek and Pirates of the Caribbean, many, many pirate novels out there. And that's the idea where when you're on these seas, there's kind of like portals to different areas. And we know this is true with the whole Bermuda Triangle. Lost is about when you're at sea, you can kind of go through these dimensions and layers of our
Hmm.
existence. And they do show that on Pirates of the Caribbean. It's actually Davy Jones' locker. It's this in between limbo world. And it's the ferrying of souls from the living to the dead. And basically, the idea is if you get stuck in this limbo, you are living in a nonsensical world. And I wanted you to kind of explain, yes, we have these laws that we have to agree by, and yes, they're based off of maritime statutes, but they're literally fake. They're not supposed to be there. And you were speaking about it beforehand. I was wondering your thoughts on that.
Well, actually, in my studies, since I've been here on this sphere we call Earth, seems like all the systems on this prison planet are created to be made into systems against our free will. Our energy. You have to look at it on a different type of level. Like we're all souls here having a human experience, and I have a big view about that because what do eternal souls that live forever? I think we get bored. So we play these little games, right? And we all um play these little games in 3D in physical reality that we're basically gathering information on how we could basically express source in the most viable way to get along with one another. So it's really crazy that in this reality where some outside force seems like it has taken control over our free will somehow, and
And
it fascinates me.
mhm.
It fascinates me. And you know what, Alexa? I think our energy is the prize. For your self will, your self sovereignty, because your self sovereignty cannot be taken by force or deception, because both of those things will lead to what we call slavery, right? And
Mhm.
from what I'm learning, that slavery is not permitted anywhere in the physical universe that souls incarnate into. So why are we allowing it here on this planet? You know, every
Exactly.
every system that we see is geared towards taking away our energy and our free will.
And using that life force, they just want to suck it out of everyone through porn and all of these very lustful states, and everyone's living in fear. If you're in fear, that's it. You're a slave to your own mind. But the second you walk out of that fear, that's when the miracles start happening, the magic, these things that are unexplainable. And doing what we do, we could bend over to fear because there is a bunch of like scary things around us. But have we gone down yet? Have we
Mm.
been taken out yet? No, because we have faith. We have a sight on the end goal that the enemy doesn't want us to even think is there.
Well, these enemies have learned that fear could be used against us in a way that we can give up our consent. That's what it is. All right. When you fear something and you revere something like that, now fear itself is not a bad thing. Fear is a warning system, warning you of danger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it's something like that, and if you fear something because you feel like there's imminent dangers getting ready to occur, that's a good thing. But
Mhm.
they're using fear to control us, and that's taking away our consent. Just like, for example, with the jabs, we can go over that, right? You see what they did. It was a perfect rendition of how they use fear to control us. Hey, you're gonna die if you don't get this, if you don't do this, if you don't stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask, and at the end, take this shot. That was the real reason for it, because they wanted to do some nefarious things with the shot. And I know you know all about that. You're my go-to person on that.
It's easily, and it's that's the funny thing is like this Satan, whatever the bad force is, the bad source code, the bad villain that we programmed to be here, whatever it
Hmm.
is so easy to defeat. And that's like the hilarious thing. Once you heal that person from one, it could be a bad sickness, it could be just a bad cold, and you show people that, hey, you can fix what you were like most scared of. that gives them the most oomph to like come back with vengeance. That is, I love seeing people heal themselves from, even if it was, an attack like the vaccine or whatever. Um, they still were able to get over it. And the second you dodge or get rid of one of the weapons used against you, you're like, oh my God, this is so easy. And then you just stand up, and it's almost like you're stand up laughing. And laughing is the one thing that can get rid of that fear. Just laugh at it. Like, that's what has
I'm
worked for
glad you
me.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people ask me, say, "Why are you having so much fun with this, Sarge? Why are you like?" Because it defeats the negative energy that's coming our way. And guess what? When you laugh, it repels that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
People don't believe me when I said I was in the Marines and we were in a war zone. How we kept our sanity was basically by humor. You
Mhm.
know, we would be ribbing on each other or we'd be telling jokes, you know what I'm saying, while there's bombs falling all around us. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird when you look at it that way, but actually humor is something that we can't, even scientists can't even explain what it is.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
maybe you can because you're smarter than scientists.
I
But
like I to me, breathing in air, like what I've noticed the past 8 years, everything I've learned, the most surprising thing to me to this day is people just stop breathing. When we're scared, of course, you stop breathing. When
right.
you're in places and you think you're being judged because you're wearing a mask, you're not wearing a mask, you're in the line, you're not in the line, all these societal norms,
Mhm.
you people stop breathing, and I can see it when I'm out and about. So when you stop breathing, you're not getting oxygen. The oxygen holds light, which is in your cells. So laughing makes people breathe in a bunch of light and oxygen. And for the first time, their vagus nerves can calm down because they have oxygen. They're not suffocating. So that's what I think of when I think of laughing. You're making people breathe in oxygen. And that's like the hardest thing in the world that would cure everyone is if they just do their breathing exercises. Going like this, like
That's
that
frequent. That's
it's
frequency.
and
Yeah.
it's making yourself make nitric oxide, which is a blood thinner. So if you're having these spike protein problems, that helps and that goes a long way. And of course, you can take nitric oxide supplements and even get
So
more. But
so they say laughter is the best medicine. You agree with that?
yes,
Mm.
yes. Salt
So
and gratitude. Be grateful for everything that you have.
right. Um, that is amazing what you just said because I never looked at it that way. But I told you were smarter than the scientists. Anyway,
Oh,
so yeah, back to the laughter thing. Yeah, we all don't know what it is, but we know it feels good. And when you said that you have to breathe, also it takes away your ability to actually think for yourself when you're in fear. Remember, when you're in fear, what did you do? The natural flight. What is it called?
fight or flight.
Yeah,
Or
fight,
fawn.
yeah, flight or fight. Yeah, we go into that automatic mode.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it reduces your thinking ability. That's why these people use fear all the time. See, they know the power of fear, but most people don't, you know, and that's why they put it everywhere. You see it in commercials, you see it in movies, you see it in reality, you see it on the news. Everything is fear, fear, fear. And that's beginning to actually fade away now because people are now seeing that that fear was uh is like what it means what is it evidence appearing real but
False
it's
evidence
fake. Yeah,
appearing real.
false, yes. So people are actually coming to their own self-sovereignty now and actually saying, "No, I'm not going to fear you anymore because you are nothing to fear. We are the sovereign people. We are the sovereign souls here having a human experience."
Yeah. I promise you, if you put Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer against all of us, who's going to
Mhm,
be scared? We're not going to be the
mhm.
ones that are scared. We're going to be laughing, going like this,
That's
and
right.
they're going to be the ones shaking in their seat. Like when it comes down to it, and Trump, he's the biggest troll. Like everything he did
Yeah,
just
he
made
is.
people laugh. Even
Yep.
the bad guys, he has them laughing because that's how you get around everything. It's
Right.
beautiful.
I loved it. I love it, man. He was the perfect guy fit for this battle that we're having.
things about you is that you free ball. Like you get out and you do these huge events and you're just talking and you're making. We've highlighted you on the show many times when you did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand up. It's funny stuff. But it's like you and you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts. Like when you said to Hillary, "You'd be in jail." Like that's great timing. Yeah. But it's like that kind of stuff was unheard of as a politician. Like no one had done that. And I think...
it's funny. You need at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business. This is a very dangerous business, first of all. It's a very tough business.
It's the most dangerous business.
It's the most, for a job?
Yes. I mean, other than going to war and being a firefighter or being a cop, it's the most dangerous business.
It's the most dangerous. Being president is the most dangerous.
Especially you. I mean, you haven't even got to the election.
And there's a lot of them that's popping up around the world now. That's just like President Trump, and you see this movement. It has never happened on the scale like it's happening because we now have a mechanism, which is called the internet, that we can reach others across the world in an instant, and never has this happened before.
You're spot on. That's what's different from this revolution to any other revolution ever. We can talk to each other.
Alexi, they used to keep us isolated, like from country to country, from village to village. Now you can't keep anyone isolated. I got people on my channel list from Korea, Australia, the Netherlands. It's international, all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's amazing how we're connecting with our self-sovereignty, but a lot of people don't get it. The main question, it's going to be, this might surprise you, but you know what the main question most people ask me?
Ooh,
and it's really sad.
How do you do it?
No, they ask me, how do I get my self-sovereignty? You don't get your self-sovereignty. They don't,
You're not going to be given it. Yeah,
you were born with it.
Take it.
You got to
Claim it.
You got to proclaim it, just like you just said.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask anyone for your self-sovereignty. It belongs to you. You were born with it. With your first breath in this incarnation, you breathed in your sovereignty. I mean, you breathed in source and you breathed out your sovereignty.
Oh, I love that. And heaven is within you. You are the vessel. And that's the biggest thing with this pirates and the code behind the maritime law that I see. Your body is your vessel. Your body has the kingdom of heaven within you, which means it just has every element. You guys, it almost irks me when people go, I'm a starseed. I'm from Pleiades. I'm like, bitch, do you know how much each and every one of our bones? I'm serious. We all hold the star dust, like the creation matter of the earth, of the universe. It's within us.
We have the source within us. We are source. You are source expressing source as Alexia. I am source expressing source as me. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have to get to, that level where we'll know that we're all one. Where we go one, we go all is not just a freaking catchphrase. It is actually a fact. We are all source. I mean, can you name anything outside of source? There you go. So we included in that. In universal law, we have to learn how to proclaim, just like you said earlier. We have to learn how to proclaim. It's like a declaration. Remember the Declaration of Independence, of how this country was started? They did that collectively, but each individual was saying to themselves that I am a sovereign person. I don't have any masters. I don't have any kings and queens that can tell me how to live my life and be controlling what I do. Now, the only law that we have to abide by is do no harm. You're not, now on a soul level, you can't harm another soul because it's impossible.
Yeah.
But on a physical level, we have to learn how to basically live among each other without harming one another. And that includes no type of injury to another, even stealing their so-called property. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You can't harm. I'm not talking about hate speech or nothing like that. That's crazy.
No.
That's just words.
And
Right.
when they have us fighting each other, it's like that analogy where if you put black ants and white ants in a jar, they're not going to fuck with each other. But if a third party comes and mixes up the jar, the ants will start biting each other.
Mm.
That's kind of what we're dealing with. So we can't imagine a world outside of the jar being shaken. So we're like, of course we want to fight because that's like what we've been raised around. But I don't think that's us in our natural form. Whenever you have two people, I've always been in the hospitality or like luxury sales type of world where people you you really can one-on-one talk to anyone and have a great conversation. It's when groupthink starts coming into the picture that's when
Yeah.
civilization kind of goes
That's
funky.
why they keep pushing that word democracy. Yeah,
Mm,
which is groupthink. It's mob rule. They want to think. They want everybody thinking the same way against themselves. Okay,
yeah.
we don't live in a democracy. We a republic is so different because it respects the individual sovereignty of each person, of each soul that's having a human experience in that type of system. So the main thing is to keep those inalienable natural born rights available to everyone that's on this planet. And that's why we're gonna be forming a Republic of Earth very soon. It's coming. It's probably here already. We just got to actual activate it. You know what I'm saying?
That's I've been saying that for the past 4 years.
Wow.
And they do kind of show it in Pirates. Obviously, Pirates is how you conquer land. Now that person owns the land, yada, yada, yada. Of course, the fake royals came in and took over all the land, which they're not allowed to do. But if Trump knows how to play chess, if what I'm gathering with this like pirate law
Mm.
from when we were made is correct, then I truly believe, and I can see how any UK, Australia, any crown owned nation, I could very well see being a new state or territory of the US, the way
They,
that he knows how to play.
that's right. They don't own anything. They fake like they own it. They
Mhm.
make corporations out of countries and the people within those countries. You guys know about the straw man, the capital letters and all that crap. They created and made basically doubles of us to control. They can only control what they create. Okay, they didn't create us, so they can't control us. So
Mhm.
in universal law, you have to proclaim who you are. A lot of people don't even know what proclamation is. They could hear like, okay, Abraham Lincoln issued the Proclamation Emancipation, which is basically a way of confirming who you are. And when they started this country called America, they sent the king what a declaration, which is a proclamation of independence. Because in universal law, it just means the act of confirming verified facts. It's an open declaration of manifestation, putting in evidence, whether by writing or by voice, into the universal of facts. Universal facts, I mean. No law can remove your proclamation of self sovereignty. Any law that does is not a law. It's a form of slavery, and people got to realize that they are born free. Everybody talk about free will. What do you think that is? Okay, that's self sovereignty. You have free will to self sovereign and rule over you, not others. Yeah, because when people say, "Oh, you one of those sovereign guys, you want to be sovereign," I say, "Yeah, I want to be sovereign over me." Okay,
Yeah.
no one has a right to come in and tell me how to live my life unless I'm harming others and taking away another's self sovereignty. That's where we draw the line in order to live peacefully among one another. And these pirates came in and tricked us into actually going to war with each other and making little cliques and separating us and saying that, hey, black is bad and white is good, and color is this, and religion. That was one of the main things that they used to separate us, was the religion. What I'm saying? So people got to realize the game that's being played, and it's a very elaborate game, but we have to realize how to play it. And when you stay in your self sovereignty, you take away all their power from playing their game. And I'm not going to play their game because when I go into courts or anything like that, from the time that I learned this, they haven't been able to defeat me with their so-called code statutes and policies of a corporation that they created I use that actually against them. You know, um, and so I want to tell people to basically you don't have to basically ask for your sovereignty because it's yours. And free men don't ask for permission to be free.
No.
Who would you ask? "Hey, can I be free,
Oh,
Alexa?
you
You
just
the
said it.
queen, Alexa. You the queen. Can you free me? Can I be free?"
They would never
It's
say yes.
crazy, right?
They would never
That's
say. But okay, so that's another thing I've noticed people are sour about, especially people in our neck of the woods, the truthers and everything, because we know everything we know. We hear the word like royalty and they're like, oh, we hate the queen. It's like a chessboard has, yeah, the bad people's royalty, and of course, yeah, we hate the bad people's royalty, our other the opponent. But in chess, each pawn of our team can become a queen. So I want you to think, okay, the land I own is my kingdom, is my queendom,
right.
and treat it as that. Which the only thing that I can imagine being a hard thing that we're all going to have to deal with very soon is homeowners associations.
The what?
Ah, HOA, homeowner associations.
Oh, okay, homeowners.
Yeah, because basically you can't get within city limits of my town. I'm in Phoenix. You can't be anywhere near Phoenix without living in one of these HOAs. And they have the ability to take away your house per these fake ass laws. And you step out of line, out of their stupid codes, out of their stupid bylaws that are really, really fake, and they take your house. They have the ability to take the lien. So that's one thing that, like, I don't know how we're going to get around that. How do we get rid
I
of these
know.
people?
I know how because
How?
we just everything is done by a contract. Okay,
Uh-huh.
they con you into a track against yourself. Okay, so what they use is their ability to fool you into getting into adhesion contracts and contracts that take away your ability to own anything. That's what they are trying to say to you. But actually, you can opt out of that at any time. You don't. Free people have the right to contract or not contract with anyone. All right. They can't force you into contract. If they force you by trick or by adhesion or by force, what are they doing? They're committing an act of what? Slavery.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, you see what I'm trying to say? Okay, so when you take back your ability to contract with anyone, whether it's a government or a person or a company, you know what I'm saying? You take away their power and they know this. That's why they keep lying to you about uh, on different rules and regulations of an HOA. But most people sign into an HOA. You have to sign
Yeah.
something, right? And guess what? You are in that contract, okay? But I gotta tell you also, even a contract cannot violate your natural born human and soul rights that you have here. You know, any contract that is made that takes away any of your natural inalienable rights is a fake, false, non-enforceable contract. When I learned that, it was over for them. I was like, wow,
Oh
you
my
know,
God, Rick is
you know
gonna
what I'm saying?
love this talk. No, that totally makes sense. And if you get enough people to prove that something is unconstitutional, it doesn't matter if it was signed. Same thing
Not
with
con Don't use that word anymore,
ooh,
constitutional. Constitutional is a the Constitution is a contract between we the people
I see what you're saying.
and our employees.
Okay.
They don't even work for us anymore. So, but in the in original Constitution, we the people said that we are sovereign. We have inalienable rights from
Hmm.
God, and we're going to hire you to work in our government, in our corporation called the government, and you cannot make any law or any type of rules to take away our inalienable rights. Go
I
read the
get it.
Bill of Rights. You know what I'm saying? It's just a contract, okay? And what they have to do is take an oath to that contract to not violate any of our rights. Are they doing that? They're not
Not right now.
upholding their part of the bargain.
Therefore,
They're
we don't have
making
to
all
hold them
these
to it.
yep, they'll make so you have to hold them to it. If you allow them to do it to you, then that's consent to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they tell you this lie about, hey, ignorance of the law is no excuse. They're talking to you when they say because you don't know the law and you ignore it, so you have no excuse to complain.
Yeah.
Okay? If you let us do this to you, basically, we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
So,
yeah. Stop bending over and they'll stop.
yeah, yeah, you're right. No
No.
grease, no grease, no nothing. So,
Oh,
no, yeah,
no, it's totally true, and that's how they do it. And the second we get into harmony, and that's why I just really, now that I think about it, you and Heidi and the videos you send me, that's the only truther stuff I watch nowadays because you guys are laughing. Half the time I can't understand what you're saying because they're laughing. But Heidi is a dancer, and that movement and sharing that movement with others is a form of getting everyone in a harmony. And I can tell
gotta tell
something.
her that she's gonna love you now.
Oh, I love watching her. She makes me so happy. She's just pure energy and she's using it the right way. You guys are using your voices the
Y
right way. You turn on other people and even though they're spouting truth and maybe like breaking news and stuff, they still have like this when they cut to their sponsors or something, they still pepper in fear. So a lot of the people that I used to watch, and I'll still check in on if something crazy happens to get the lowdown or whatever. Like there's a lot of fear in other channels, even truthers. So I've seen this disease even get into my neck of the woods with like detox and stuff.
Mm,
So you guys are just so pure, and the dancing, the movement. Earlier, you were talking about a declaration, and I've been hearing the Jericho Wall story a lot,
mhm.
and it's basically the movement of a lot of people going around in harmony around their home that they're proclaiming.
Mhm.
And if you notice and if you think about it and if you've thought about where Trump has been, I mean, I try to go see Trump whenever he's in town. It's a little hard because it's hot, but there's 40 to 60,000 people at the rallies. Even if they don't make it in the building, they're still like there. And
Yeah,
he goes from he did Coachella, Arizona, Georgia,
yeah.
New he's making a Jericho
Butler, Butler,
circle
Butler,
around
yeah,
what?
and Butler, Pennsylvania, New
Butler,
Jersey,
and then
Jersey.
Wisconsin, which is the hot yeah, so he's hitting, and if you notice, he's making a bunch of people do a Jericho circle around the US every day, and he's going around in the right like motion of earth to do a Jericho circle. So I can see that all the people, what are
That
they
is awesome.
saying when they go to his rallies? They're proclaiming like he's making them say what we're going to do. And it's usually a chant, and you're like, oh, it's just 4 more years, or like whatever the case is. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, you're proclaiming what is about to happen, and then you make your move. It's almost like when you're doing like darts or beer pong, you have to say, like, you have to call the shot
That's
before you make it.
Yeah, that's what we are. We are creators. A lot
Yeah.
of people realize that's why I started my channel, and I went from law to other things, and now I'm back to the soul because the soul is so powerful. Once you know that you create your reality individually and collectively, that's what the enemy knows. So when they put out some big event, like let's just say they would come like, hey, there's a category 5 hurricane that's going to be hitting Florida in 5 days. What happens is souls start to fear that and they start to create the conditions for that freaking tornado to actually form by psychic energy that we have, and we form it. Okay, when you get like a million or more souls thinking the same type of fear, okay, it's going to be created even faster. That's why they say 5 days, they say 3 days, and then oh, it's going to be
Oh,
here 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Because usually in this reality it takes it's a time buffer, because we know as souls that if we don't control our thoughts, whatever we think could actually just instantly create what we are thinking, and it will cause a lot of chaos. So it's a buffer.
yeah.
That's why when souls created the physical reality, we had to put a buffer in it, especially here in the 3D worlds, so that we wouldn't cause chaos and catastrophes for each other, because we are the creators. You know what I'm saying? Here's a simple way of seeing it. Imagine if it was just me and you, okay, just two people on Earth, Alexa. All right, you and me.
Okay.
Could any of us claim authority over another? Me or you? No, I couldn't claim authority over you. How could I?
No.
Okay. So multiply that by billions. Okay? The same thing is true. None of the billions can have authority over you. Okay?
Mhm.
When I put it in that way, people get it. They say, "Oh, that is so awesome, Sarge. I never thought about it like that."
It's true.
This is I'm always trying to think of ways to tell the people, tell the souls here, having a human, because they have been did dirty. They had their memories wiped. The worst thing you can do to an eternal being is take away its memory of itself. Okay, that's like a debt.
Mhm.
Okay, and then they incarnate them into this reality and fill them full of lies and tricks and all kind of stuff. And before you know it, the soul is trapped, and they're like in what we call a Stockholm syndrome, where they're
Yeah.
identifying with their enemies, okay, and they're enslavers. And to break that chain, we have to get back to the individual and let the individual know that, hey, no, 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 you're not a slave. You are a sovereign soul of source, and you have every right to be living your life free of any type of slavery,
Yeah.
which all the systems on this planet is set up to keep you enslaved and keep you dumbed down from your power of who you are. Even the religions tell you that you have a soul. That's not true. You
Are.
are a soul. There you go,
You
Alexis. See,
are the
you
soul.
are.
You're not the vessel.
Uh-huh.
This is just your ship that you're here for, and it gives you tools. And I do believe some of the tools that are,
Right.
coded in our DNA. And that's why I love antiparasitics, because almost everything that gets rid of antiparasitics, it helps clean your DNA. And what happens is our DNA gets calcified through antigens. And antigens, it's a good thing and a bad thing. A
Mm,
good thing, it saves you from dying if you have a little fever that goes too high. It caps your
mm.
DNA, so it saves your DNA and you get better.
You're so
Great.
sm you're so
But
smart when you do that. I love when you explain that.
I really want people to see the good and bad, because too many people are like, oh, capping the DNA antigens are good. And it's like, it's immunity and it kept you alive, but you still have to heal after that happened, because now it's capped your DNA. And if this happens enough times, like our great grandparents had to go through a pandemic. Every 50 years, there's a pandemic that caps your DNA with an antigen. So a lot of people are like, oh, we love germ theory. Oh, we love terrain theory. I'm like, they're both theories. I don't subscribe to them, because to me those are still immunizing your DNA. Those are still putting an antigen on your DNA, and vaccines are just making that same process happen really, really fast.
Mhm.
So you still have to clean up after having a really bad fever, even though you feel like you're feeling better. Getting oxygen, laughing, nitric oxide, chlorine dioxide, whatever oxygen you like, is going to remove that little antigen from your DNA. And then we can see what is coded in our DNA, what our DNA remembers, because you keep saying they took away our memory, but we know that DNA holds memories, because you can look at someone's DNA and be like, oh, your grandfather had this sickness. Oh, your grandmother had this happen to her. So we know the DNA holds memories outside of our own lifetime. What else does it hold?
What is our DNA made from?
Ooh, what? Light?
From everything that's here, the stars, the
Mm-hmm.
planets, everything is connected.
Yeah.
Okay. We all have, you can go, your DNA is a part of the earth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they keep telling you ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and all that crap. Because
Yeah.
we made avatars as souls.
Yeah.
We are energy. We are pure energy of source.
Yeah.
That's what a soul is. Okay. We are made. We can use light and sound to create our reality. Now, you said something very interesting, and I'm surprised that you don't talk about that more, because you know about frequency, Alexia. Okay. We are walking med beds. And when you did that
Mm-hmm.
little, did you know that the Tibetan monks have been doing that for thousands of years to heal themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you hear these little stories, the little children's stories that's written in the Bible, like in the beginning, God said, let there be light. And there was light. Now, when you analyze that statement, what is God using? What is source using?
Photons is just vibrating light. It's part of the hologram, that it's the
Right.
source that makes up
Sound.
our hologram.
Sound creates the light, right? So he used
Oh, the
sound,
vibration. Yeah.
right? Yeah, the frequencies. We are all frequency beings. We are all basically frequency beings. We are energy. We are pure energy. And we are made and we create light through sound. So it's telling you that God spoke the words and then there was light. Okay. So that's showing you the basics of how we create. And even the avatars like Jesus and the rest of these Buddhists and everybody tell you that, hey, when you trying to create your reality, you actually speak it into existence. Okay. You think it first and then you speak it. Okay. And then
Yeah.
when you speak it, you create your reality. He says, and if you and then you use your your confirmation that it's gonna happen to basically make it happen. All
Mhm.
right. There was a story about Jesus when he was coming into Jericho or wherever he was going, and he came upon a fig tree. And the disciples said, and the Jesus said, "I'm hungry. I'm gonna go over to this fig tree and get me a fig, and I'm gonna eat it." Right? And when he got to the fig tree, in the distance, it was all bare. It was, it didn't have any fruit on it, and Jesus cursed the tree. Now, I don't know what he said, but he cursed the tree. And then he walked into the city, and that's where he went into the church and started kicking all the money changers out
Yeah.
and kicking ass and taking names because Jesus was a freaking rebel.
You
Okay.
believe it.
He was a badass. And then on his way back out, they saw the tree. It was withered to its roots. And the disciples said, "Hey, Rabbi, look at the tree that you cursed. It's dead. And he said, I say this to you, if you say to this mountain, lift itself up and throw
Happen.
itself into the sea, whatever you said will be done if
Mhm.
you know that what you said will become true. Basically, he's telling you how we create our reality. And a lot of people don't realize that, that we create our own reality individually and collectively. And by proclaiming who you are, is basically is a way of actually annihilating their control over us. That's why I came up with a way to declare yourself your independence. Your personal declaration of independence can be used in any way. All you got to do is write it down or announce it to a person, and they cannot overcome that.
What
You
is
know,
it? I want to know.
it's the Declaration of Independence. You just declare
So
your
just
independence from all the systems that is trying to control you. Did you ever read? That is one of the most. Everybody say the Constitution is the most important document that we have. No, it's not. The Declaration of Independence is the most important because without the Declaration of Independence,
yes.
there would be no
There
Constitution.
would be no constitution. You have to
You understand?
declare, I am Alexia
Declare it.
Eisenhower. I am a sovereign being. I am
Yeah,
eternal of God's grace.
you get it. See how
Yes.
quick you get it? That's why
I
you
did
smart.
an I am video. It's really cute. I'll put it here. And I did like I pulled up like deprogramming. I'm like, I am deprogramming myself of ancestral chains. I am deprogram like all these things you don't even think of. And then you start thinking of it. And like when it comes up as a thought in your head, you're like, no, I deprogrammed this. This isn't of me. This is of
Right.
something else. And life just gets so much easier. And oh, I
It is.
love
It
talking
is.
to you, Sarge. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You just said what people can do to get rid of fear too, whether you know it or
Yeah.
not.
What?
Soon as a fear thought come into your thinking process, get rid of it. You if it's something that's imminent danger to
Yeah.
you, then you can basically do something about it. But if it's not, you get rid of it as soon as possible. I think it's 17 seconds or something like that. If you
Mhm.
hold on to that thought, it could do you harm.
Yeah.
Just create because the universe doesn't work that way. It doesn't see things in dualities. We
Yeah.
do. Okay. So it doesn't know if hey, the soul wants this to happen. Let's make it happen. You know what
Make
I'm
it happen.
saying? So
Don't say you're broke. Don't say you're
yeah,
hungry. Don't say
don't
any
say
of
I'm
those
sick.
things because it's
Don't
gonna
say I'm
happen.
sick. Don't say I'm sick. No, say you're getting better. Say
I'm healing right now.
I'm
Yeah.
healing right now. Even though I don't feel well right now, I'm healing. Heal thyself. Heal myself. And it works all the time, 100% all
Everything.
the time. People just have to know that they have that power. You know. We
100%.
create systems to manage the needs of our society together, not to enslave it. You know, that word government in itself is a bad word.
Govern.
We need managers. We can create councils to take care of our corporation that we have together, called the government, to manage our affairs of the collective. You know what I'm saying? that's not supposed to be meant to enslave us. Okay. And people have allowed this to happen because, oh, the government. And I always ask people, could you introduce me to this government?
What is it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, because there is no living, breathing entity that's called government. No, it's actual people that's in government, that's using government to basically control us.
That
Okay,
big complex. We need to
right?
make a bunch of small councils, which
That's
is republics, and that goes into the pirate code. The Republic of Pirates, it's like this is my vessel, this is my land, get the fuck off of it. And if we need to come together, we're a republic, we can.
right.
But like other than that, leave me
Hmm.
alone. Like don't look at me, don't talk to me. And there will be republics that are more liberal, maybe with like the Vegas type of entertainment, and we have to keep our eye on that because that could fuel Satan again. Anytime you have like these false idols, it can fuel the bad stuff. And then you're going to have republics that take back farmsteading and take back their children's education. And there is no public education, it's all done within the state, and people have something in
Hmm.
place. I'm so excited to see
Hmm.
what the United States is going to look like in 50 years from winning this.
I'm more excited to see how the world is going to look because the whole world is supposed to be going to a republic of Earth. You know, what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that's so
we
cool. Yeah.
we need that because just like everything, we all go together here. Where
Yeah.
we go one, we go all. So I can't disparage someone that's in China that's being enslaved,
Mhm.
and we are free over here living the life of
We're
Raleigh. No,
not free as long as they're slaves.
that's right.
Yeah.
So our species has got to be freed from another species that have basically infiltrated us. Yeah, it's man versus mankind. And it might be a simplistic way of putting it, but it's the truth.
It's true.
Okay, they using us against this is so weird, Alexia, that we're living on a prison planet, and guess what? We are the wardens and we are the prisoners at the same time. We are paying others to enslave us.
I
Okay?
know. It's
This
true.
is
It's true.
when you think about it on that level, you say, "What the hell am I doing?" You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
You got people out there say, "Oh, you can't protect yourself. We're gonna take away all your freaking ways to protect yourself. Only we can protect you." Really? Come on,
Put
give
a
me a
silver
break.
star on and become the sheriff. That's what
There,
we are. Yep.
there you go. So
Okay.
So you put it in writing, a simple
Yeah.
declaration of proclamation of independence. So you can confirm your self sovereignty, and you can send that to anyone. You can send that to any employee of the fake government. Okay, you can send it to your husband. You can send it to your
True.
family member. You know, you declaring yourself as an independent soul here, having a human experience. I'm not hurting anyone. My greatest right to on this planet is to be left alone. A lot of people don't realize that you have an unlimited right to be left alone. As long as you're not breaking the number one rule that we established that you cannot do, which is harm.
Yeah.
You cannot harm another. You cannot take away somebody else's self sovereignty to please yourself or
Hmm.
to take advantage of them. I don't care what it is or who it is. You can't do that. So when we get to that level, which is probably going to be a couple of years or decades, and maybe I don't think it's going to take that long. Once people
Yeah.
um, get the truth back into themselves, it's gonna be very easy.
I
You know what I'm saying?
It's happening so quick. I mean, we've done this for a long time. The past 2 or 3 years, and I think the Joe Biden experience had to happen. I think people had to go down to no money because that's the only time that you'll make people wake up is when you fuck with their money.
Mhm.
So, I can see why things had to happen the way they have, but
Yep.
people are waking up pretty damn fast, and once you make a victim into a hero, there's no turning them back, and they're almost stronger than the next guy. So,
They
I
are.
thank you so much. I know you have to go to an appointment, but thank you so much for joining me, Sarge. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, it's just wonderful seeing that people like you are spreading the word, and I am so blessed to have people like you that are my friend and basically pushing this out because we need it because when you just hear it from one person all the time, but when you're hearing it from all over the place, it gets to be more and more of conducive, and we can create that reality. A lot of things is going to be happening fast, you know.
When the
You,
boomerang hits. Yeah.
yep, yep, yep. The hunters are becoming the hunted now, and that is a good thing because we got to get rid of the cancer that has infected this planet. They're parasites. They've been sucking our energy. They're harming our children. They're harming each other. I mean, our fellow brothers and sisters all around the world. They're trying to enslave them. It's it's gotta stop. Okay, and it's not just Trump. Okay, that's working. It's a whole bunch of good people that are doing the right things. A lot of people don't realize that when we say the military, who are they talking about? Who,
Us.
you know, they're talking about us. You're right. We are the military.
You're a
Okay.
commander. You have a vessel, remember?
Right.
So we
Yep.
are the military. And that's everyone talks about the Second Amendment like it's just guns. No, it's the fact that you are the military. That's what
Mhm.
the Second Amendment means. Yep.
That's right. That's right. It's priceless when people realize that. So, thank you so much for inviting me on your show, and I can't wait to see you're gonna dress it up and
I'll
put
dress it up
lipstick
and
on it.
put some more piratey stuff and it'll be perfect with this. Thank you so much, Sarge.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Definitely. Thank you. Bye-bye.